First pitch from Elizabeth Hightower. Put in play towards shortstop. Wallace fields, throws, close, safe. Even with the infield in, Poole just putting the ball in play. And one pitch into the game, LMU has a base runner.
Yeah, Sydney Poole is such a spark at the top of this order for LMU. Just taps it to the left side of the field, gets 2 bounces, and anytime a slapper can create 2 bounces to the left side, specifically to shortstop, you know they have a chance to leg it out to first. Close play at first, and because it's so early in this game, don't think that Tim Walton is going to want to review that.
Ward swinging at the first pitch, foul up the first base line to Wilkie. By the way, for Poole, that's 12 hits for her now in the last 9 games. But Morgan DeBoard, a lot of fun to talk to her yesterday. 9 home runs on the season. All West Coast Conference first team this year. Bunted in the air and just out of reach of the catcher, Sarah Longley. You needed about another length of the softball to corral that in the webbing.
I know it's just 3 pitches, but look at how fast LMU is coming out. Sydney Poole hits the first pitch, then you see DeBoard swing at the first pitch, and then bunt that one. 3 strikes for Hightower in 3 pitches.
Runner goes, perfect throw down to second, and out is the call. A head first slide there by Poole. Now we'll see if Soraya Flowers, the head coach of LMU, has an interest in reviewing this. Let's take another look at what's been called a caught stealing.
And Sarah Longley is caught for Florida this season. She's been a shortstop and an infielder for them. She has a very good arm. That throw is on the money, ends up getting the shoulder of Sydney Poole as Skylar Wallace goes down with the tag.
7 caught stealing this year for the catcher Longley, and a bouncing ball to Reagan Walsh at second. Gets the board, and just like that, Hightower has the bases clean with 2 outs. But point taken. LMU's not just going to sit on their heels here, facing an SEC team to start the day.
Yeah, you needed to come out the gate ready if you're on the infield for Florida, that's for sure.
Here's our new favorite last name, Izzy Jamgachian. The true freshman catcher. How about this for your freshman year? First team all West Coast Conference. Got a half dozen homers, SoCal native from Pasadena. I asked Izzy yesterday, so when did you start catching? So it's been a while. Probably 7 or 8 years old. Right in on the hands, a wave and a miss.
She talked about her relationship with Jenna Perez, and they had a few good laughs about what she likes to say to Jenna Perez out on defense whenever she goes and chats with her on defense. And that's that pitch, Mark, and like when you see Hightower pitch to righties, it's just so unique, really, in all of the country. The way that she goes to that screwball over and over and over again, oftentimes getting a lot of foul balls down the left field line.
Well, after all that, it proved to be a 10-pitch inning.
A hitter that does it all this year and the best hitter in the country.
Facing in the circle, as we mentioned at the top, back-to-back West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year, Jenna Perez.
Excited to see Jenna Perez pitch with a couple of years that she's had in the West Coast Conference. She'll spin a rise ball, 2.09 ERA. Started 25 games this season.
What can we expect from the Temecula, California native?
She'll throw in the low to mid 60s, has a curveball and a rise ball mix. Something that stood out to me is the amount of first pitch strikes that she throws. 66% is the percentage for the amount that she throws for first pitch strikes.
So ready for the Gators in the bottom of the first.
Batting first for the Gators, number 17, Skylar Wallace.
.460 batting average. There's some bad news for her. She's really struggled in her last 8 games. She's only hitting .421 in her last 8. So Things are heading south in a hurry.
Oh, man.
She's just so much fun to watch on so many different levels. Entertaining to chat with as well, as you have, I'm sure, found out on many occasions, including yesterday.
And she knows the game. She knows herself. She works with Tim Walton really well and works really hard. And I mean, Coach Walton was talking about everything that has come her way the past couple years, and especially this year, she's earned because of her work ethic.
Yeah, you can definitely feel that strong connection between player and head coach. And I know that happens on a lot of different levels with a lot of different teams, with a lot of different players. But Skylar, who of course didn't start at Florida, she was at Alabama. We're transferring after the 2020 season. But if Tim Walton, he has high praise for Skylar Wallace. Good pitch from Perez. Just missed it near the outside corner.
And this is the changeup that Jenna Perez was talking to us yesterday about, that she will drop down to 50 miles an hour. That was such a good pitch right at the knees, but it looked like it was a little bit off the plate.
Jim Bertuzzi is our plate umpire, and if that's going to be a ball all day, it is going to be a hitter's zone, because that was really close.
I know. And especially pitching against a hitter like Skylar Wallace, like that's where you dream of putting that pitch and hope that you get the call.
Sometimes an SEC Player of the Year is going to get the benefit of the doubt on a borderline call. She whacks one towards right center field and racing over Sydney Poole. Got a good jump and snares that in the alley. The first out.
Yeah, I think it's already a good time to talk about with Skylar Wallace driving that ball into one of the alleys, is that this is a very big field. The alleys are really deep, and so outfielders are going to have the opportunity to track down balls deeper into those alleys. Sometimes I think, depending on the field, one of those hits like that might fall, but I don't think here.
Reagan Walsh takes a strike. Yes, it is definitely a park that, purposefully or not, Stanford has built their team that way. I mean, they're a team that doesn't hit a lot of home runs, the team that calls this their home ballpark. High fence, about 10 feet tall. I mean, 205 down the lines, which is only about 5 feet further than what you see normally in college softball, but it seems to make a huge difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference. And those 8-foot fences, definitely a pitcher's ballpark. We heard that right out the gate. Daniel Lurie texted me right away, who is familiar with this ballpark, saying that is a pitcher's ballpark there. It's hard to hit home runs here.
Walsh, big rip and a miss, and strikes out. Now 1 for her last 18. And 2 outs.
This is that Jenna Perez rise ball. Look at this. Great backwards rotation, that rise ball spin that gets it to jump last minute, up and in on the hand. She's throwing with good velocity and good spin. LMU is proving to be really aggressive right out the gates on both sides of the ball.
And a strike poured in by Perez to Charlotte Eccles. Just southwest of Atlanta, Noonan, Georgia, her hometown. And more like Eccles' numbers this year after battling a hand injury last season. Back up to 11 home runs this year. Had a career high 15 a couple of years ago in 2021. That slipped to 5 last year. But back up to double digits in 2023. Sends one high in the air towards left center field, and on the warning track, it is run down by Avery Francis, and already this big ballpark.
91.
Ariana Hadaki will lead off the top of the second inning.
And we'll talk more about Stanford and the nightcap tonight whenever they play Long Beach State, but grabbing the 9 seed, getting to host a regional is always a big deal too, but should they have been in the top 8? Yeah.
As long as it's not a rhetorical question, I'm going to answer it, and the answer for me is yes. They should have been in the top 8. But we'll see how it all plays out. Hadaki, sophomore, Southern California, Moreno Valley. A 10-pitch first inning for Elizabeth Hightower. Worked around the game. Leadoff base hit by Sydney Poole. Hadeke smashes one foul.
You'll notice whenever Hightower is throwing that inside pitch to right-handed hitters, it's her screwball, and it could be her rise ball too, but she'll vary her speeds at about maybe 65 to 58 to 52. Like, she's throwing her best when she's throwing 3 different speeds. And honestly, Jenna Perez for LMU told us the same thing about herself. She throws 3 different speeds.
4 home runs this year for Hadeke. 3 of those 4 have come in the last 9 games, so that power has been surging for the sophomore.
And when Hightower is pitching, she throws against right-handed hitters, you'll see a lot of foul balls pulled toward the left side over by the third base coach and the head coach for LMU, Tariah Flowers. And we actually talked to her about that, and she's aware that there's a lot of foul balls, and she told her team the same thing. Getting off of Hightower, good change up there, mixing speeds. When that pitch is on, makes Hightower that much tougher. She was on that screwball, and then she pulls the string on the changeup, throws it through the zone, gets Hadeke way out in front of that pitch. Second strikeout for Hightower.
Now Perro, the third baseman, stands in. Val spent a season in the Pac-12 at Oregon State. A true freshman year, 2020, the COVID year. Played 10 games before the season was shut down. Now in her second season at LMU, San Diego native at Norte High School. What do you know? Tim Walton's team finished 8th in the SEC regular season. Of course, Tennessee won the regular season and postseason tournament. Three-two pitch. There's a foul ball. Tariah Flowers, her third season as the head coach at LMU. Earlier this week announced as the West Coast Conference Coach of the Year for the 2nd consecutive year. And no question, one of the great players in the history of the game. Her time at UCLA as the catcher there.
Always a pleasure to talk to. You can tell she's just so competitive, but at the same time just can be so nice and full of joy. Just always a pleasure to talk to.
Won gold medal in 2004 in Athens, bronze in Beijing 4 years later. One on, one out. Left fielder Jasmine Sofawara.
Those right-handed hitters, including Perro and Sofawara, starting to take that screwball now, and it's a pitch that earlier in this game Hightower was throwing for a strike. Now she's missing just a little bit low or a little bit off the plate.
Towering pop fly coming back this way and gets out of play.
And when we asked Coach Flowers about, what's your plan of attack against Hightower, she said, stay in the zone. Do not keep chasing and be okay with fouling him off. Make her make a mistake. And when she does make a mistake after you've fouled off all those pitches, then attack it.
Towards third and foul ground. Eccles makes the catch. And Perro able to jump back to first. 2 outs.
Such a good reaction by Charlotte Eccles, who's on the all-defensive team in the SEC. She read that off the bat so well, because Sokor actually hit that a little bit off the end of her bat, and as a third baseman, it can be easy just to flinch too quick or move too fast, but she had such a good read off the bat, able to make that out.
Ball went to the DP for LMU. This is Taylor Fitch, true freshman in the Seattle area. Fitch got a few at-bats in the series against University of San Diego last weekend to finish the regular season for LMU. Has not had a lot of at-bats in May. But getting a chance to start here as the DP, game 1 of the NCAA tournament for LMU.
Seems like LMU being a little bit more patient this inning than what we saw in the first, right? It seemed like the first and second hitters, Poole and DeBoard, came up and it was like boom, boom, boom. And then things have started to slow down. They're taking some more pitches, making Hightower find that inside corner with their screwball with all these right-handed hitters up.
Whacked into left field. That's fair. Skipping into the corner. Gathered by Falby. To third base goes Pero, and down to second, Taylor Fitch. That's a clean double for Fitch, her 6th of the season.
Now this is actually on a changeup that is left up in the zone, and she goes up and gets it. Especially when you're thinking about being quick to that inside screwball as a right-handed hitter, a pitch like that left up and out of the zone at 58 miles an hour. It's going to be easier to attack, and Fitch makes her pay for that mistake. Look at LMU, 2 on, 2 outs. Big opportunity here to take advantage of this against Florida.
First extra base hit for Fitch since April 8th when she had a double against University of the Pacific. They are going to run for her.
Number 9, Kat Hummer.
Kat Hummer, senior from Redondo Beach, going to take over at second base. As you just mentioned, Amanda, here's a chance, 2 on, 2 outs for LMU to grab an early lead in this game. Gabby Villa, second baseman, is up. Just foul. That was by 8 inches or a foot or so.
You know, Mark, I think a big part of what Tim Walton said to us about Florida's game is that they like to be a team that scores early. They're more of an offensive team this year than a low-scoring games, not giving up too many runs. And I think if you turn the tables, and for LMU, if they're able to score first, if they're able to score early, it automatically puts Florida on their heels.
Twisting back, and it will hit the screen. It did hit the screen before Longley went back. I know it hit her glove later, but even had she caught that, would not have been an out. Villa's hit well with runners in scoring position this year. 421. Couple of runners on. 2 on, 2 outs. 0-2 pitch, hit in the air to left field. Hit well, Falby back, and she has room to make the catch on the front of the warning track. So a threat by LMU. They strand of the second. That means Pal Egan, the cleanup hitter, leads off. Grad transfer from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Spent a couple of seasons in Corpus. Part of that, Vernon College in Texas, which is a community college.
She was a player that Coach Walton told me came in and really struggled a lot working on her master's and marketing, but around Christmas time, he said that's when she started to get more comfortable, and about midway through this season really felt like a light bulb went off for her. a player who wants to play professionally. She has a cannon for an arm in the outfield, really good work ethic.
Had a really good final year at A&M Corpus Christi last year. Southland Conference Player of the Year. Had a dozen homers. She has hit a half dozen homers this season, 3 of those coming in conference play. 1 against South Carolina, 1 against Auburn, 1 against Kentucky. There's the second strikeout for Jenna Perez.
Jenna Perez working Cal Egan, who was stepping across her body, and she still goes to that outside corner. This actually looks like a low rise ball that had backwards rotation on the outside corner. Ended up getting her right at the knees on the outside corner. Good pitch. Jenna Perez is really spinning it today.
Emily Wilkie fouls the first pitch away. Emily starting at first base today. 11th time this year she has started at that position. From the southwest part of Atlanta. Has a career high 6 home runs this season. Last one coming April 29th against Ole Miss. Speaking of Ole Miss, they got a win today in their first game.
They look good against Baylor. That's a team that can play with a lot of fire, and Lexi Brady, who was so good in the SEC tournament, just continuing her ways into regionals.
Well, the Baylor ace out with injury, so we'll see how Baylor, the only team that's beaten Oklahoma this year, how they fare without their ace this weekend, perhaps without their ace all weekend.
Yeah, Dariana Orem, so good for Baylor this year, a pitcher who can beat anybody. Glenn Moore said she's day-to-day, which sometimes is conspicuous and sometimes it's really what's happening, but we'll see if we see her tomorrow, hopefully, because she's fantastic.
Kind of sounds like the story that's going on at Alabama right now.
Yeah.
With their ace. Let's see how that plays out. Ooh, what an off-speed pitch that freezes Wilkie. And Jenna Perez making an early statement in this game.
Yes, she is. And this is the definition of a knee buckler. Backhand flip changeup buckles the knees of Emily Wilkie, who strides out and just kind of starts to shake her knees there because she sees about halfway through she's beat.
I think she did a shimmy there.
I love the determination from Jenna Perez. I mean, this is a pitcher you were talking to her about yesterday, Mark, who threw, what, a 10-inning game, struck out 20 against Fresno State back in March. A workhorse for them and very determined pitcher.
Threw a no-hitter, a 5-inning no-hitter, did Perez in their win over University of San Diego, which was actually the game that they used to clinch the West Coast Conference. The WCC is one of 2 conferences, the other being the Big West, which has Long Beach State here, that does not use a conference tournament for their automatic qualifier. It's the winner of the regular season title. Which is something that LMU has now done back-to-back years.
And this is a pitcher who, she told us what she throws. She said, rise ball is my best pitch. Also mix in a curveball and a screwball and can throw a backdoor curveball too. But she told us word for word, I'm most successful when I have a good changeup working.
Count full now on Kayla Pollard. Gators DP.
Even Coach Jariah Flowers said that Jenna Perez has had a different look in her eye this season, that her confidence has grown so much.
It's out to center field. Francis was shading her that way in left center.
At the top of the country and long balls, and Clemson looked good too today. Looked fired up.
Avery Francis leading off 9-1-2 for LMU, who have the game's only 2 hits. A game leadoff base hit by Sydney Poole, a double by Taylor Fitch in the second. So LMU's had the better of the scoring opportunities, as Florida yet to have a base runner through 2 innings.
Yeah, I think that LMU has looked like a really inspired team. In the circle, up at the plate, had an opportunity to score last inning. Had really good at bats.
Avery Francis, in her freshman year, she's from somewhat nearby Pleasanton, California, over on the East Bay side. Went to Foothill High School. .27 wins for LMU this year. Won the West Coast Conference regular season by 1 game over BYU. When you look at the 4 seeds here, the 2 automatic qualifiers are Long Beach State and LMU. Stanford and Florida at large bids.
Yeah, like you said before, just 2 conferences left that don't have a conference tournament. Ironically, they're both here in this regional.
Big West, the other one. Long Beach State taking on Stanford later here. Well, sent in the air to left. Falby roams to her left, battling a bit of the sun to make the catch. And that's another example. I mean, that ball came off the bat pretty well. I didn't think it was going to go out, but I thought it was going to travel farther than it did. We continue to see balls in this pitcher's park just kind of fade when they get deeper into the outfield.
There are some schools, too, that still have 190 down the lines, and that's still permissible by NCAA standards. We have, and imagine that. A couple of balls probably would have gotten out at this point.
Sydney Poole led off the game with a base hit, was then caught stealing. Leads LMU in batting average coming in. .333 and has 5 hits in her last 10 at bats. I don't know if you were catching any of the regional in Salt Lake today. Utah has a very deep ballpark. 235 to center, 225 down the lines, but at their altitude, the ball travels really, really well there. Kind of the opposite of here. So that's why their ballpark is so big. It's big by necessity. Otherwise, it'd be a bandbox for home runs. There's a chance we're going to see 5 or fewer home runs out of this entire region. We'll see. That's just a guess. A walk to Sydney Poole. She is on for a second time, and that is walk number 2 issued out by Hightower.
Yeah, Sydney Poole told us that I like being on base. I don't care how I get there. I just love being on base, and I love that about her. She's such a tone setter up at the top of the order for LMU. She's like, that's what I like to do. Whatever it takes to find a way to get on base, I'm going to do it.
Pitching coach Mike Bosch has come out for Florida. At the heart of the order coming up here. See Hightower this inning. There are 11 pitches, 7 of them have been out of the zone. .45 pitches. Elizabeth Hightower with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Morgan DeBoer grounded out to second her first time up. They're in tight around the infield.
And Morgan DeBoer told us that she changed her stance this year. And so now I stand really upright. A couple years ago, I was much more in my legs, but this year I stand up more and helps me load and gain power, load longer.
Yeah, this is a hitter who in her true freshman year in 2020, granted there wasn't a whole lot of games, didn't hit any homers. In 2021 in a full season hit 1. But then last year hit 4, and now this year has a career high 9 going into postseason play. Morgan DeBoer does have a home run against an SEC team this year. Back on March 3rd, she hit one against LSU. A game that LMU lost by a run, 6-5. One hop to second. Walsh to Wallace, and Wallace able to graze the bag with the foot. Get the toss in time. They get the lead runner Poole on a force out, and now DeBoer runs with 2 outs.
Yeah, not a great toss from Reagan Walsh to Skylar Wallace, but with the speed of DeBoer, they wouldn't have been able to turn 2 anyway. But good job by Skylar Wallace to hold on to that ball at second base. Not an ideal on-target toss.
Here is Isabel, better known as Izzy Jamgachian.
We'll see Florida make these defensive shifts. You see Reagan Wallace, the second baseman, playing right up the middle of the field, basically right behind second base and right behind Hightower, opening up the right side of the field. And you think about, too, probably it's a little bit of a scouting report looking at the spray chart of Jamgachian, but also just how Hightower likes to pitch right-handed hitters. She's going to pitch them more inside, so there's going to be more balls that go toward the pull side. That's a big reason, too, that they like to put Kendra Falby out there in left field when oftentimes you'll see her play center field.
Hightower gets ahead, of ball and 2 strikes. Two on Jamgachian. I just love all the syllables. They do, once you learn how to pronounce it, it's a fun name to say.
Really, yeah, I agree.
A little bit inside, and it's a full count. Walton's team hasn't had a base runner. Meanwhile, LMU's had at least 1 base runner in every inning so far. Had 2 on, second and third, 2 outs last inning. Failed to score. 3-2 pitch. Pulled foul.
I think you see that Coach Walton maybe being a little bit frustrated, and this is just my guess, but to how the inside corner is being called to these right-handed hitters. And it seems like since the second inning that Elizabeth Hightower has had some trouble finding that inside corner consistently against right-handed hitters with their screwball, not getting that call from the umpire when they take it.
Misses low, ball 4, second walk of the inning. And the Lions have something going again with 2 on and 2 outs.
Now batting, number 15, Ariana Harrison.
Ariana Hadeke. Cleanup batter. Takes a strike.
A couple of pitches there to get ahead after walking Jamgachian 0-2.
Hadeke 4 for 20 with runners in scoring position this season. Second opportunity today for the Lions with a runner in scoring position. The other second and third, 2 outs back in the second. Gabby Villa hit a ball hard, but flat out deep to left in the inning. Golf slowly towards Eccles. She gobbles it up and throws out. Hadeke to end the inning. So 2 runners left on. That's 4 stranded by
opponent and call pitches for you with you know what you're going to throw.
Falby smacks it past Pero at third into left, and there's the first hit of the game for Florida. Kendra Falby batting in the 7-hole for the first time all season. Jumps on the first pitch, and there's their first hit.
Yeah, she's like another leadoff hitter. Reads at the third baseman, is playing so far in. She is so good at reading a defense and has a ton of different tools. So she's worked on her barrel control and her bat control this season. Perfectly places that down the line to beat the shift. Pero playing off the line and hits it past her.
Katie Kistler punts it foul. Falby's bat control with that is so good. It's almost like she's serving with a tennis racket, that she can guide the ball so well and put it where she wants. She did that right there. She knew where Pero was at third and just hit it right past her.
You're so right. So much speed, too. And with her being in the 7-hole, when I saw the lineup came out, you noticed right away that, looked at the game notes, oh, that's the first time that she's been in that 7-hole, but I treat it like she serves as a leadoff hitter in that 7-hole, to where now Katie Kistler is almost like a second 2-hole, Sarah Longley is like a 3-hole, and then Skylar Wallace, the leadoff hitter, would be the cleanup.
A look at second. She had time to get Kistler at first, a little bit of a low throw, but how to keep picking that, and that's the first out. Falby with her speed was going on the pitch. So you can understand Perez's instinct to think lead runner, because she got that comebacker pretty quickly.
Yes, she did.
Catcher Sarah Longley. Got the rally gator.
The gator head, yep. And the money in there. That's been what they've used lately in the dugout. And the gator head, I think, speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But the money, you get rewarded with the fake money, of course, or at least I think, if you do something good on the field.
Yeah, I think we can confirm those aren't actual U.S. legal tender.
Yeah, they need security guards down there if it was real money, I think.
NIL only goes so far.
Got some hit sticks in there.
Yes. Pull foul. Longley does have a career-high 6 homers this year, including a 2-homer game that she had in non-conference play at UAB back in early March. Ooh. There is that devastating off-speed pitch, and it leads to Perez's 4th strikeout.
This changeup is just fooling these hitters, and Sarah Longley knew it right as she started her swing, that she's going to be way out in front of that pitch. Real speed. That is like a Bugs Bunny changeup that you just pull the string and it like stops halfway and the hitter takes a swing and then it goes into the glove. What a pitch right there, especially with speed at second base there with Kendra Falby. A big out. Now we have Skylar Wallace up with the first base open.
Christian Conrad, the pitching coach, making a quick visit. So Falby's at second with 2 outs, and I think I know the answer to this question. With first base open, do you even throw anything remotely close?
No, you just go ahead and put her at first base.
So while they intentionally walk her, I'm going to put you on the spot. You know why they call it a Bugs Bunny changeup, right?
It's from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the actual episode?
I've seen it.
Where, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I mean, I don't know if I saw that episode when it came out.
Well,
Mark,
you probably wouldn't have, because it was like
seen
1965 or something like that.
But I saw it at some point.
It's a classic.
And, you know, this is kind of an obvious move right here, but I think that when we talk to Coach Walton, we know that Skylar Wallace and Charlotte Eccles and Kendra Falby are a big part of this offensive lineup. But when we asked him who else needs to step up, he said Reagan Walsh, the hitter on deck, the hitter that Skylar Wallace just got pitched around to get to. And honestly, it didn't matter who was probably going to be on deck. They were going to pitch around Skylar Wallace regardless. But now's an opportunity for Reagan Walsh to step up and get a hit, just one hit in her last 18 at-bats.
Walsh had not been hitting behind Wallace in the batting order, but is today. So I think Tim Walton knew yesterday when we chatted with him where he was going to put Reagan Walsh here for game one, and that's why he mentioned her name when we brought it up. 2 on, 2 outs. Gators batting bottom of the third in the scoreless game from Palo Alto.
Yeah, it's up to Reagan Walsh to make Jenna Perez throw a strike here, because you also have Charlotte Eccles on deck. This is where it's really tough in the Florida lineup with Charlotte Eccles, an experienced hitter on deck.
Walsh got under it, a high fly to left center field, and Avery Francis there to make the catch. So this time, and your impression of this facility in the ballpark?
Well, what I've seen so far is a kid being able to throw to really every spot in the zone, in, out, up, down, then change of speeds. Obviously, we knew about the 21, 22 mile an hour difference in the change. Not a lot of swings on it this year either, so a tough pitch. Ballpark's great. I mean, it's a big ballpark, obviously, nice ballpark, fan friendly. It's good. I mean, it's just it's a great place to play. We're excited to be here.
Coach, it looked like you mixed up your lineup a little bit before this game. What went into who you put where?
Just trying to win, Amanda. It's all about trying to figure it out, trying to win.
We'll leave it there. Appreciate
Thanks.
the time. Thanks,
Go
Tim.
Gators.
Head coach Tim Walton. Yeah, that move to Falby in the 7-hole has paid off so far.
She's always liable to get on base and use her speed.
Alpero leading off. Well, a walk in her first plate appearance back in the second inning.
It's such an unusual spot for Florida to be in, Mark, when you think about it. And I would have to think that they feel some pressure and expectations more than probably a team like LMU does, because Florida is known for being a powerhouse in the SEC and hosting regionals and even being a top 8 seed. I mean, they're the only team in the SEC that's won back-to-back national championships, and they're the last one that did it. I mean, you can list off all the reasons for why Florida might feel pressure and expectations coming into this regional and being unseeded for the first time for a while.
You see their #1 seeds through the years, and this is the 20th consecutive time they've made the NCAA tournament. They haven't missed since 2002. And as we've been talking about, this is the first time that they've had to go on the road for a regional since 2004. And that was before the super regional round began in 2005. So the regionals in 2004 and prior to that had 8 teams in them. It's a fly ball to left field. Falby squeezes that. So it was a different landscape in the regionals the last time they were in one on the road.
That's right. And Coach Walton even used that as motivation for his team coming into this regional. Hey, be the first Florida team to win a regional on the road. Coaches, of course, will use different ways of motivating their teams this time of year. Not that you have to be motivated at all, but just getting a different mindset or different way of looking at it, that, hey, instead of, oh, poor us, we're the first team to travel to go to a regional since whenever year, 15, 20 years. Instead, it's, hey, we get to be the first, that we could come in and make our name in the Florida record book.
Jasmine Sofawara lined out to Charlotte Eccles in the second inning. All West Coast Conference honorable mention this year for Sofawara, who was the West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year last year. Getting close to 70 pitches here for Elizabeth Hightower. And we keep an eye on that because this has the potential of being a very busy weekend for Hightower. So Fawara's hit well towards the end of the season, end of the regular season anyway. A hit in 4 straight games. 2 homers in those 4. And 5 total hits in the last 4 games. Goes to a full count.
All of a sudden, that changeup has gone away for Hightower the last 2 times that she's thrown it. It's bouncing it in and instead of throwing it right at the knees like we saw earlier in the game. Good pitch for her. And so then when that changeup goes away, then these hitters can just really sit on one side of the plate, sit on one speed, and she will vary her screwball, rise ball speed on her arm side of the plate, so inside to right-handed hitters by a few miles an hour, and that definitely can play some tricks on a hitter's timing. But the key to me is that changeup being the lowest speed that she throws and dropping down to like 55. Love to know how many steps that Kendra Falby gets when Hightower pitches out there in left field. Like on a day that there's been the most foul balls hit down the left side, she wore a little, is it pedometer that counts your steps? Like how many?
Yeah, Fitbit, whatever you want to call the name brands, yeah. There's another one foul, and that's going to get out of play. Even LMU head coach Tariah Flowers told her team, hey, there's going to be a lot of foul balls that we hit off of Hightower, which sounds like an unusual part of a scouting report, but it's a very valid one. Because she definitely does give up a lot of foul balls by design. That's going to be playable. Looks like the shortstop Wallace wants it, just a half step into foul territory. Pretty good battle there between Hightower and Sofawara, and Elizabeth wins it for the second out. We got a little Wham walk-up music, really?
I'm swaying up here in the booth.
That doesn't get you pumped up to hit. I don't know what will. Hey, Long Beach State's hanging around. They're ready. They're going to play the host team, Stanford. Second game of the day today. Then we'll have on ESPNU at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Pitch to third. That's where Eccles plays. She gobbles it up, and they go in order. Poole swinging at the first pitch. The board was aggressive. We're like, hey, no surprise. They're here to play. What was the message before the game to the team?
It was exactly that. Be aggressive. There's nothing, you know, this is the end. This is what you played all year for. So no reason to keep anything in your back pocket.
Coach, you've seen Jenna Perez play a lot more games than we have. What do you take so far on her outing today?
I think she's doing a good job of working ahead for the most part, and she's going at the hitters when we need it and just allowing her stuff to work for her.
We'll leave it there. Appreciate the time. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Coach Tariah Flowers UCLA Athletics Hall of Famer. Just trying to, I mean, there's so many accolades. We threw in the Olympic medals earlier, so that's kind of old hat. I had to find something new.
Yeah.
And she's right about Jenna Perez. Her ace has been really good.
She's looked strong, strikeout pitcher, and got a few strikeouts in this game. And even Coach Walton was talking about it, just hitting all the different quadrants, being able to change speeds, go up and down. Jenna Perez, a pitcher that just really has it all.
3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Gators. Charlotte Eccles fly to center in her first at bat. Florida's had just 2 base runners today. Leadoff base hit by Kendra Falby in the 3rd, and then Skylar Wallace was intentionally walked with first base open. Eccles, the count in her favor, 3-0. She continues to be one of the most difficult hitters, not only in the SEC, but in college softball to strike out. What's she at, like 6 on the year?
She is at 6. That is the number. A changeup on a 3-1 count, too. She's being able to throw that pretty much on command, whatever she wants.
From 3-0 to 3-2. Charlotte Eccles. Ooh.
It's a great take.
That was an incredible take. She surveyed that all the way in and gave it a serious look, and her great knowledge of the strike zone and batting eye paid off there, as that's a leadoff walk. Tim Walton's going to go to the bench and find somebody to run for Charlotte. Three of the last 6 Gator hitters have reached 2 of those walks. At some point, somebody's going to pop out of that first base dugout. And
I think the person is going to be, yeah, I thought that it was Sam Rowe. She was down in the bullpen catching.
Catcher,
so.
Yeah. Well, I think they're just gonna. Are they gonna bail on this, or are they finally gonna wait?
Oh.
Now Tim Walton saying, "Hey, give me time." No, we got. She. Oh, she.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
She is pinch hitting. Okay.
Call that timeout just to give her a second to catch her breath and understand what's going on, what's happening.
So Rogan to bat for Egan here.
Next hitter for Florida, number 13, Sam Rowe.
Rowe 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter this season. Lays down a terrific bunt and then falling down, throw to first, not in time. Hodeke got to him, but right as she got the ball in the glove, fell on her side, and everybody's safe. The Gators have 2 on with nobody out.
And I think Coach Walton has a lot of confidence in Sam Rowe's ability to lay down a bunt, calls her in, and unfortunately Hodeke, I think her cleat just gets stuck in the ground, ends up rolling over her own foot. Maybe even stepped on her glove too. Florida with the rally.
Scored a base hit. And Emily Wilkie's up with 2 on, nobody out. First time today, Florida's put the first 2 on base in an inning. Now a 2-0 count on Wilkie. Wilkie shortens up on 2-0 and takes a strike on the inside part.
Perez gets that call in the inner half, and Wilkie just gives a little smile, probably not agreeing with that call. And also it's tough just as a hitter when you're called on to bunt and you recognize that that's going to be a rise ball with rise ball spin. You want to pull back and hope that that pitch is going to continue to rise out.
Gets the bunt down. Perez throws to first. So sacrifice for Emily Wilkie. Now the Gators have second and third, one out.
And you can tell Florida 100% here playing for one run. That's what they're doing. Good sacrifice bunts, laid down by Rowe, and then Wilkie.
Representing the box for the Gators, number 23, Kayla Pollard.
Left-handed bat of Kayla Pollard up. Strike one, runs to the inside corner. Pollard's batting average with runners in scoring position very close to just what her season average is, just a hair under 300. Fly to center field, her first at bat. Close one, goes the way of Pollard. 2 balls and a strike.
Just Jenna Perez continuing to mix things up. She can go in, she can go out at the knees, up and in on the hands to both lefties and righties. Didn't get the call on both of those pitches, and now look, Florida showing some patience at the plate.
See the plate umpire Jim Bertuzzi with his right hand was kind of giving the motion like he was saying those pitches were down. 3-1 pitch. Bounce to second, runner coming home. Now you got Eccles in a rundown. She's going to stay in the rundown long enough that the runners, this may last a while. She's being chased, she's tagged, and in essence, she stayed in the rundown so long that it's going to be the same situation that they had. It's just in and out, second and third.
That is the same situation, but if you're Eccles, you put the brakes on and just make them play catch a couple more times, right? Your chance increases of scoring with them just not making one throw home and putting on the tag, but to have to make a few throws and a few catches back and forth. Never know what can happen in a pickle like that.
Yeah, make them execute. Never know what's going to happen. Lemieux's going to use some time here. Christian Conrad, their pitching coach, goes out. Mariah Flowers is going to join that conversation in the circle.
And oftentimes too, Mark, with a runner at third base, less than 2 outs, a ground ball to second base is often a scoring opportunity. But LMU, their middle infielders were playing pinched in and knew that the whole time they were trying to get an out at home. Of course, scoreless game, but played well.
So you got Falby coming up. I think part of that is the conversation here. You got first base open, and Falby is so good at just placing the ball wherever she wants. Do you want to put her on here and take your chances with Kistler, who's a bit more of a conventional hitter?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Let's see how they play this year. Interesting. A scoreless game in the fourth. Falby guided one into left field for a base hit when she led off the third inning. And they're pitching to her.
Surprising too, because of the pressure that she puts on a defense, how well she reads a defense, how perfect the defense has to be to make a play. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Falby is tough, and home runs and a lot of power isn't really one of them. It's putting pressure on your defense to make a play.
Falby doesn't have a ton of RBIs, mainly a product of where she normally bats in the batting order towards the top, but nonetheless 8 RBIs. Her last one came April 15th against Georgia, so it's been a while. Just off the edge. That's a big call there. 2-1 instead of 1-2. Knockdown, and Falby does it once again. An infield hit. They took a chance on the runner heading for third base, and Pollard, and Falby with him kind of napping goes all the way to second base.
Big swing again. Kendra Falby is able to read the defense and see where Morgan DeBoard is playing. Goes to a more powerful slap to try to get it through the infield with 2 runners in scoring position. And DeBoard, such a good athlete, almost tags the runner who's running just past her there. That was so close. Have to be incredibly careful as Pollard tries to maneuver around that tag, and Falby to take an extra 60 feet. When Florida is playing its best, they are using their speed, they are using the ground game and adding pops of power here and there, but Falby comes through, and she's had a couple of good at-bats in this game.
So an RBI infield hit for Falby, and when DeBoard was trying to sell that she actually tagged, which they're going to review this, she was holding the ball in the air for the third base umpire Tyler Barfus to look at, and Falby used that as an opportunity to go to second. On the play, and there's the call. So they're going to uphold it. So Florida does take a 1-0 lead, an RBI for Falby.
And Morgan DeBoard can't believe it, and she might have felt a tag. You know, she very may well have put a tag on and she felt it, but there's just not enough evidence to 100% know that she did indeed tag her and overturn it or change the call.
Well, right now, the move of putting Kendra Falby in the 7-hole, the batting order for the first time all season, looks to be a genius move by Tim Walton.
It does.
Katie Kistler's up. So now if you're LMU, you got to shake that off, because it's just a 1-0 game. But if you give up a hit here, you might be down 3.
It's an important batter here. And a reminder, too, that Morgan DeBoard just didn't play shortstop like all the time. Like, this is a fairly new position for her this year, and Coach Tria Flowers had confidence in her athleticism and softball IQ. Put her there, and that, I mean, what an unbelievable heads-up play for DeBoard to think the way that she did, and again, move her body that way. She was a gymnast growing up, very athletic, comes from an athletic family, too.
My dad, Benji, played football at USC, a wide receiver. That's a rare 4-pitch walk. Jenna Perez that loads the bases. Remember how the inning began? A 3-2 pitch to Charlotte Eccles that she was able to take for ball 4. Tim Walton's going to go to the bench again.
Number 19, Olivia DeGanti.
Olivia DeGanti is going to bat here for Longley. True freshman from San Diego. The base is loaded.
Florida being so patient with some of these pitches and making Jenna Perez work. They have taken some close pitches in this inning. Where it all started with a leadoff walk by Eccles.
DeGanti is a pinch hitter this year, 4 hits and 13 tries.
The call there, that rise ball at a lower level. It's been a while since Jenna Perez has had a strikeout. In fact, it's now been one time through the lineup that she's not gotten a strikeout.
She gets it there. Struck out 4 the first 9, but gets DeGanti. But Florida breaks. 8, 9, and 1 part of the order will bat for LMU. Tariah Flowers, Lions head coach, making sure she's caught up. There were some changes for Florida's Avery Gels is going to play right field now for Florida, so she's new entrant into the game. There's Avery. So with the bookkeeping done, we go to the 5th, and Gabby Villa, flying to left her first time, leads off. High drive, deep to left field. Falby back, and this game's tied. Just the second of the year for Villa, the second of her collegiate career for the freshman.
When you went back to her first at bat, she struck the ball really well off of Hightower, and a ball that almost got out of here. But again, it's a pitcher's park. Home runs are going to be hard to come by, but Gabby Villa sticks with it. Looks for that inside pitch. She is on time 100%. This time a no-doubter off of the freshman's bat. LMU punching right back after Florida gets on the board.
Francis tries to bunt. Well, for Villa, the only other home run, her first collegiate home run, came against St. Mary's April 22nd. St. Mary's College. And that was a solo home run. And the Florida lead did not last long. LMU now with 4 home runs in their last 3 games. That's strike 3 gets Francis looking. Hightower's 3rd strikeout, her first since the 2nd inning.
Well, looks like that changeup might be coming back. Able to lift that a little bit more up in the zone. She's been bouncing that in, an important pitch for however long or much longer she stays in this game. Top of the order coming up now, the 3rd time through. I'm sure Riley Trilicek is warm and ready to come in relief if need be.
Trilicek getting loose. Sydney Poole has been on base twice. Base hit, infield hit to short to start the game of the 1st inning, and then walked in the 3rd. Sydney Poole would like to be a screenwriter someday. Maybe she'll write your favorite show.
Love getting a chance to talk to her, and her answers were just, I don't know a great adjective for them, but well thought out. Well put. Like, what? How would you describe her answers?
I'll give you several adjectives. They were thoughtful, they were informative, they were concise. I'll give you those 3 things.
Yeah, those are 3 great words for them.
Excellent speaker. Guides that into center field. She's on base for a 3rd time.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Trilicek enter this game now. That couple of well-struck balls in this inning. Sydney Poole just on time with that slap right back up the middle of the field.
Looking a lot like Falby.
Yes, yeah.
Now batting for the Lions, number 5, Morgan DeBoer.
Here's Morgan to board. Third time around now for LMU to face Elizabeth Hightower.
It's when Morgan DeBoer almost made that play at shortstop. And remember, she's a pretty new shortstop, and Coach Tariah Flowers, her advice to Morgan DeBoer was just be an athlete. That's what she tells her at shortstop, and almost paid off in this game of just being an athlete with making that tag, or almost tag.
Second base, Walsh, the tag, it comes out of the glove. Safe is the call. And Tim Alton is going to come out to discuss this with second base umpire Vince Price, who initially looked like he wanted to call her out, but didn't.
Yeah, he's Coach Walton asking about if it was on the tag or if it was on the transfer.
And they're going to look at this, as will we here. Tough to tell from that angle.
I think it was on the tag. I think it was on the tag. I don't think it was on the transfer.
I agree.
I think this one will be upheld.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was on the transfer because her throwing hand comes up and off the ball, but
in the last 2 games, they had 3 against Tennessee, the SEC tournament in Fayetteville. So the call upheld. So LMU with runners at first and second, still only 1 out. Catcher coming up is the Jamgachian. That error, by the way, the 40th error of the season against the Florida defense.
it's a good stop by Sarah Longley there. Change up that's in the dirt. Ball didn't even skip around off of her, bounce off of her, picked it easily. Another position or another person that is playing a different position this year.
Tim Alton getting the infield together as well as the outfielders. The whole team is going to convene here. The way Tim walked out with a purpose his first few strides, I thought it was this maybe a pitching change. But not looking like that. Nope, that's not going to be the case. Just a word for his entire team here. This was a scoreless game until the bottom of the 4th. Florida scored on a Kendra Falby RBI infield hit. But LMU jumped right back. First pitch of this top of the 5th. Gabby Villa a home run to left, and now they have 2 on. Only 1 out and a chance to take their first lead. They got Jamgachian, who lines it into left field for a base hit. Going to try to score. Here comes the throw to the plate. It won't. It'll be cut off. And LMU indeed has taken their first lead as Poole crosses the plate, and it's 2-1 Lions.
Another freshman stepping up and just keeping this inside rise ball fair. That's the key against Hightower, to not hit foul ball after foul ball, but to keep your hands more inside that pitch and keep it fair. Jamgachian giving LMU the lead. This team has played so inspired since the first pitch of the game. They set the tone back when Sydney Poole came up with a leadoff infield single and not look back with their energy.
Cleanup hitter Ariana Hadaki is up for Loyola Marymount.
Number 15, Ariana Hadaki.
Blocked by Longley, but the lead runner will advance as the board with her speed moves 60 feet up to third.
Yeah, she got such a good read being there at second base, seeing the angle of the ball out of the hand of Trilicek, and as soon as she saw that down was taking an extra 60 feet. Now Florida defense could be put under more pressure, a first and third situation. See how and what they decide to run and what LMU runs offensively.
Hadaki against left-handed pitching this year, hitting a little over 100, 111 in the season. Line knocked down off the glove of Wilkie. She's going to tag her for the putout. That in essence did cost him a base though, because it does allow Jamgachian to go to second. rookie almost caught that on the line drive.
Bang bang play, which she had a lot of different options, knocked it down. She potentially could have thought to throw to second base, could have just gone back and tagged first base. Just that ball got on you in a hurry. You had a lot of different options with how to make an out there, but now LMU has 2 in scoring position.
So Rosado's going to run at second base now for Jamgachian. All one to the third baseman, Valpero. Hot shot to short. Wallace to first to win the inning. But LMU responds. They score 2. Wallace lined out to right center field in the first inning and was intentionally walked in the third. Wallace came in hitting .460. She's at .457 with the 0 for 1. Leading off an inning, hitting .486 this year. 7 of her 19 home runs have come leading off an inning.
Got a strike there. I was wondering if it would just be a 4-pitch kind of pitch around or walk.
I was thinking the same thing. Which makes me even more intrigued to see where this 3-1 pitch goes.
Good pitches right there at the knees on the outside corner. Like a backdoor curveball that just catches the edge, and all of a sudden Jenna Perez is right back in it. I'm sure she's wanting her chance to get Skylar Wallace out the way she's pitching today.
The board trying to run it down, and she gets called off at the last moment by Sofawara, the left fielder.
Jenna Perez fell behind, trying to throw a changeup on the first pitch, and then went too low in the zone, and then ended up being 3-0. But she got back into the count with that pitch, working the outside corner 2 pitches in a row, and then got her to chase a little bit more down and off the end of her bat in that full count.
All one to Reagan Walsh. Strike on the inside corner. Walsh today is fanned and fly to center. Seven home runs for Walsh, the last coming April 28th against Ole Miss. Two balls, 2 strikes. Wow. Perez in command.
Knee buckler again. Second time in this game that I've seen a hitter's knees just buckle and shake from this backhand flip changeup. Just Reagan Walsh is thinking that a pitch is going to be a lot harder than that, and then it just floats in there at 48 miles an hour or so. That changeup has been on for Jenna Perez.
Eccles today fly to center, also walked. That led off the 4th inning, which eventually led to the Florida run and gave them a 1-0 lead. LMU scored 2 in the top of this 5th inning, so they have the 1-run lead. Eccles taking a few moments out of the batter's box. Maybe trying to mess with the rhythm that Jenna Perez is in right now.
That changeup in all counts, hitters counts, 2-strike counts. You can watch it and watch it on film before you face her, but it's just so different to get in the box against a pitcher like Jenna Perez.
Took a swipe at it, and it gets past the diving DeBoer into center field.
A good adjustment by Charlotte Eccles because she sat on the changeup that time. Jenna Perez tried to throw it 2 pitches in a row, and the first time it was just another thing of beauty that got Eccles, and then the second time she made an adjustment to sit back. That pitch was a little bit more elevated in the zone and hits it hard right back up the middle of the field. Christian Conrad's gonna call a timeout and talk to his battery.
Sam Rowe is the hitter coming up for Florida. It'll be her second at bat of the game. She came in as a pinch hitter in the 4th inning. Well, Florida out of the SEC, the West Coast Conference champ, Loyola Marymount University. We knew with Perez in the circle for LMU that if she's on her game, we were going to have a very competitive game, and that's what we've gotten so far.
Opponents entering this game just hitting 168 off of Jenna Perez. I mean, that is such a low batting average against a pitcher. And she's tipped with 2 strikes too, Mark, because opponents with 2 strikes batting .094 against her.
Rowe pours in a strike, 1-1. Rowe bunted, picked up a base hit in the 4th when she was pinch hitting for Egan and has stayed in the game. It's a Florida team that comes in having lost 9 of their last 13 games. Finished at 11-13 in SEC play, 8th out of the 13 teams. Got knocked out of the SEC tournament last week by the team that eventually won the tournament, Tennessee. Two from Perez. Popped up on the infield, and it's DeBoer, the shortstop, that makes the catch. So a 2-out base hit by Eccles. 5 hits total in the game. Jasmine Sofawar, the left fielder, leads off. Jasmine is lined to third and fouled out to the shortstop, Wallace. Check out the final 2 outs of the 5th. He's starting a clean inning for the first time in this game. Right 3 on the outside corner. He gets Sofawara looking.
Riley Trilicek just paints his outside corner. Like a backdoor curveball right at the knees, comes back across the outside part of the plate, getting Sofawara thinking that pitch was going to be in the left-handed batter's box and breaks back across.
Fouled by Taylor Fitch, who has a double and a ground out.
Just has seemed like the energy of both of these teams has been glaringly different all game. LMU has come out just with so much energy in that dugout. You can feel it on defense too with Jenna Perez, and Florida just, at least it seems like it from up here, just a little bit flat.
Check gets ahead 0-2.
I thought that Elizabeth Hightower too started the game and looked strong through some really quality pitches, but I think LMU just made her work, ended up throwing more pitches in the later innings.
And then the third time through the order, and even more success, has taken the lead. Belted foul.
I see them though out on defense, Mark, just watching Florida, and everybody just the energy just doesn't seem to be there, like talking to their pitcher in between innings, moving around a little bit. Everybody just kind of still, and the body language just looks a little bit down to me. And they're facing a tough opponent and a tough pitcher in Jenna Perez, no doubt, but energy seems to be lacking in this game.
Fitch strikes out. Trilicek fans the first 2 with the help of the throw down to first to complete that one. 2 outs.
Yeah, this could be the spark of energy here for Florida. Back-to-back strikeouts for Riley Trilicek, coming in relief in this game, going to an off-speed pitch, getting Fitch to chase at the zone.
Number 2, Gabby Villa.
Going to bring up Gabby Villa, who homered the first pitch she saw leading off the top of the 5th and tied the game at that point. He whacks the first pitch to right, and it's run down by Avery Gell. So Trilicek has set down all 5 she's faced.
Here, I've never been to the Stanford campus, my first time, and first time calling a Stanford game too.
Wilkie skies it left side and DeBoer right near the line in fair territory, and 1 pitch, 1 out in the Florida 6th. It has been 11 years since Florida has lost a first-round regional game. They've been up against it today, facing Jenna Perez in the circle for LMU. Fowler takes ball 1. You look at the distribution of outs for Perez. She has the 6 strikeouts, half of which have been called third strikes. 7 balls in the air, 3 ground outs for outs.
More of an upspin pitcher, so she's got to get a lot of fly ball outs or outs that are in the air.
Perez pours in a 2-0 strike. Well, you just look at the batting order. Skylar Wallace is going to get another bat in this game. That ball's hit the left. Sofawara in a few steps late to make the catch. So they got that going for them, but if they don't get anybody on base, they would be down to their final out with Wallace batting with 2 outs in the 7th.
It's just been a struggle in most of these innings just to get anything going offensively.
Well, Falby Done her job today. 2 for 2, a couple of singles, and knocked in the lone Florida run back in the fourth, which gave them that brief 1-0 lead.
She has been really fun to watch at the plate today, and can't help but notice just the lineup changes that Florida has made in this game, and I'd like to have seen her maybe hit more toward the top of the lineup behind Skylar, where she's so good at. Of course, you can just always second guess everything after the fact, but she's been fantastic today at the plate.
She has the count in her favor at 3-0. That's a 4-pitch walk, so Kendra Falby's on base for a third time.
Until being more careful with her and that at bat. Remember, they had an opportunity to pitch around her with first base open and didn't take it.
A 2-out base runner for Katie Kistler.
A couple of other scores that I'm seeing here. Auburn is up on Cal State Fullerton 12-2 in the top of the fifth, and UCF up on South Carolina and Donnie Goborn in the circle 1-0 in the top of the third with some runners on. A couple of good games going on right now.
There goes Falby, the throw down to second, and she's in with a slide. There's the potential tying run. Scoring position, 7 steal for Falby.
Got a really good jump. She has long legs, goes right into second base. Shamgachian doing everything she can to throw her out. Villa, the second baseman, covering second for that steal.
Perez keeps the 0-2 pitch well away from Kistler.
I think for Florida, too, that, of course, she'd love to score here, but in that 7th inning, you'd love to also give Charlotte Eccles another at bat. Not just Skylar Wallace, but try to get Eccles up, too.
To left field, coming in, Sofawara. Well, Falby reached base for a third time, but she's stranded, and now after
both of these teams, and LMU up and rowdy, Florida pretty quiet.
First pitch swinging out to Eccles at third base. Avery Francis grounds out. And that is 6 in a row for Riley Trilicek. She has set down since coming in the game in the 5th in relief.
Next up for LMU, number 3, Sydney Poole.
Poole's been on base 3 times. 2 singles and a walk. In fact, she and Falby have had very similar days offensively. Both with 2 hits, both with a walk, and on base 3 times.
Trilicek has done such a good job coming into this game.
Yeah, she has been really good. 17 pitches deep into this relief appearance. She stranded each of the 2 inherited runners when she came into the game in the 5th. A little bit foul past third.
Remember, it was LMU, too, who told us verbatim, we have the clutch gene. Our fans and parents tell us that you guys make us so nervous because they'll be down late in the game and be close games, and then they'll have come from behind wins or end up pulling out the wins some way, somehow. And I think that you've seen that today from them.
Yeah, even Coach Flowers said, you know, there's some games that we've had where it looked like we were going to lose. And I would have the post-game speech in my mind, going to mention all the different things we needed to do better. And then the team would come back and win, and I would have a totally different post-game speech. We're taking low, and it's a full count. Wave and a miss and a strikeout. So they retired Sydney Poole for the first time in the game. Third K for Trilicek.
Again, Trilicek just spinning her curveball, looking so good, so confident. Sydney Poole is so tough to strike out with the way that she has such good barrel control, and big swing there, getting her to swing miss on that curveball. 3 strikeouts for Trilicek in relief.
Ball 1 to Morgan to board. Looking ahead to the bottom of this 7th. Florida knows they're going to be trailing it by at least 1. They'll have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters up. That's Wallace, who's due up second in the inning. You got the 9 spot. Catcher Longley. Wallace and then Walsh. Eccles due up 4th in the inning. One and 2 to board. 0 for 3 today, has reached on a couple of fielders' choices. First team all-conference this year in the West Coast Conference.
The thing about her is that she can hit for power with her 9 home runs, but she can also go to that slap whenever she needs to, maybe with 2 strikes, or she's not seeing a pitcher real well. Shorten up with that slap and still be able to put the ball on the ground and use her speed to get on board.
Riley Trilicek, excellent in relief. Retiring all 8 she's faced, but the Gators down to their final 3 outs. Eccles due 4th.
This is the time right now, Mark, that you have to have your best at bat. Good take right there by Sarah Longley, not getting herself out on that rise ball. Most confident, best at bats of the game.
Hits a drive to left field, hits it well, and hits it out. Seventh of the year for Sarah Longley. Solo shot, and it's tied.
We're sitting here talking about Skylar Wallace, and Sarah Longley says, "Don't forget about me." The first pitch that she took was a lower rise ball than the one that she hit that is at her eyes, but she has the mentality, if I see the ball up, to get on top of this pitch. And even though that's not what actually ends up happening with her home run, it's the mindset, it's the approach that she takes to tie up this game from the 9 spot. Sarah Longley, wow.
And Longley's first 2 at-bats today against Perez. Strikeout swinging, strikeout looking. Here's Wallace representing the winning run at the plate. Line to right, fly to left, and was intentionally walked into third.
And this is a Florida team, too, where we've seen them come from behind many times late in the game, because it just feels like if their offense is within 1 or 2 runs of striking distance of the other team, then that's how they've actually turned some of their losses into wins this season. 5 walk-off wins for Florida.
To left field, Sofawara. So that big out there for Jenna Perez. They have really kept Skylar Wallace from being an offensive impact in the game. 0 for 3 with an intentional walk. Big rip by Walsh.
That was a good swing. You can tell too, that's the pitch she wanted. That's the pitch that she was looking for, that she wanted to swing at, and right after it hits her cleat with her bat, just knowing that just missed it. And then she brings that changeup that nobody has even, I don't think, come close to even making contact with. Just going off of memory, maybe 1 or 2, maybe.
It hasn't been put in play. The ball's 2 strikes. Host team Stanford Cardinal taking on Long Beach State. A little later, and there's a bouncy ball off the diving shortstop's glove to Board. And Reagan Walsh has her first hit of the day.
Again, Reagan Walsh took a note out of Sarah Longley's at bat and did the same thing, staying on top of this rise ball. They're having better at bats off of that rise ball, getting on top of that and driving it to the left side.
Christina Welland's going to run at first for Walsh.
Is running for Florida at first base, number 26, Christina Welland.
Here's Charlotte Eccles.
Number 4, Charlotte Eccles.
1 for 2. A single and a walk. Gotcha, and the catcher goes out to the circle.
Start to feel the nerves in this situation, Mark. I mean, it's inevitable. There's so much riding on every pitch. Jenna Perez has pitched so well in this game, and to give up a home run to the first hitter in the bottom of the 7th inning, and now you're facing a hitter like Charlotte Eccles, game-winning run at first base. Not easy.
Upstairs, 3-0.
And what makes you feel more uncomfortable too, if you're Jenna Perez, is the fact that the team that you're pitching against has taken away your best or second best pitch of the day, your rise ball. Maybe your best pitch of the day has been her changeup. But with 2 hits in this inning off of that rise ball at your eyes, you start to think about that as a pitcher, like, oh man, are they on to me? What do I need to do different? Are we gonna start calling different pitches? Now you start to get out of your rhythm a little bit.
Fouled back from 3-0 to 3-2 now on Charlotte.
Looked like a good pitch to hit there. They have so much speed at first base.
Yeah, Welland can run well. Runner goes. It slid off the foot of Perez, goes into right field. Welland fell down around second. And need to check on Perez, who took a hard line drive off the foot. Egan takes a strike.
Look at Jenna Perez just working through the pain, too. It's not an easy inning for her. We already talked about just how emotional an inning like this can be. Just when a team starts to make adjustments on one of your best pitches and then you get hit. It's so crazy how much across her body that Pal Egan steps almost out of the box.
Chopper up the middle. Here comes Welland around third. Throw to the plate. Here's the tag is not in time, and Florida wins it with 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th.
Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know if some kind of a magical if agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know if some kind of a magical if agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. I don't know if some kind of a magical if agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are